Okay, so get this. Imagine running like our ancestors did, feeling the earth beneath your feet.
It's like going back to basics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the world of barefoot running, and today we're taking a deep dive into it. You shared a fascinating article with us, Testo and Colato,
Yeah, great piece.
and we're going to explore the science behind transitioning safely and if it's really all it's cracked up to be.
You know, what's really interesting here is that barefoot running challenges the very foundations of how we've been taught to think about running. It's not just some passing fad.
Right.
It's a rediscovery of natural movement. And we're here to help you separate fact from fiction.
I love that. So you can decide if it's right for you.
For sure.
I'm already intrigued.
Yeah.
But let me play devil's advocate here for a second.
Sure.
Why would anyone want to ditch their comfy shoes?
Okay.
Is it just a trend, or is there a deeper reason people are drawn to this?
It goes way beyond just following a trend. Think about it. Modern running shoes, while comfy, can actually be too protective. They coddle our feet so much that those muscles and tendons we need for natural shock absorption
Right.
can weaken over time. Barefoot running is like waking up those forgotten strengths.
So it's like our feet are getting lazy from all that cushioning?
Exactly. You wouldn't believe it, but a study way back in 1987 by Robbins and Hannah
Wow.
showed that running barefoot activates these often underused foot muscles, ones you probably didn't even know you had.
That's wild. Okay, you've piqued my curiosity. But I have to admit, the idea of making the transition is a bit daunting. What about injuries? I had a friend who jumped into barefoot running too quickly
Oh, yeah.
and ended up with a stress fracture.
Ouch. That's a valid concern. It's crucial to transition gradually. You're absolutely right. Going too fast is a recipe for disaster. Our bodies, especially bones, tendons, and muscles, need time to adapt. Think of it like training for a marathon. You wouldn't go from couch potato to running 26 miles overnight.
That makes sense. So how do our bones adapt to this kind of change?
Our bones go through a process called remodeling, where they adapt to new stresses. But this adaptation has to happen gradually. A 2013 study by Ridge and his team highlighted the increased risk of stress fractures if you suddenly increase your mileage or change your running style. So patience is key here.
Okay, I'm starting to see why a slow and steady approach is so important. But even if we're being careful, are there common mistakes people make when transitioning to barefoot running? I'd love to know what pitfalls to avoid.
You're right to ask about common mistakes. One of the biggest is overenthusiasm. People get so excited about barefoot running, they push themselves too hard too soon.
Okay.
It's like trying to climb Mount Everest after only jogging around the block.
I love that analogy. So it's all about easing into it.
Yeah.
Kind of like dipping your toes into the water instead
Yeah.
of diving head first.
Exactly. A study by Goss and Gross in 2012 found that even experienced runners need to significantly reduce their mileage when they start running barefoot. Ignoring your body signals is another big mistake. People often try to push through pain thinking it's just part of the process.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
That's me always thinking no pain, no gain.
Yeah.
But I'm realizing that might not be the best approach here.
Yeah.
So how do we know if we're pushing too hard? What should we be listening for?
Pain is your body's way of saying, whoa, slow down. Any persistent soreness, especially in the calves or the balls of your feet,
Okay.
could be a sign of a strain or even a stress fracture.
Okay, so pain is a red flag.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
What about the surfaces we run on? Does that play a role in transitioning to barefoot running? I imagine running on concrete would be a lot different than running on grass.
You're absolutely right. Running on hard surfaces like concrete when you're just starting out is a recipe for disaster. Think of it like running barefoot on a bed of nails.
Ouch.
Starting on softer terrain, like grass or a track, is crucial
Okay,
because it allows your feet to gradually adapt and strengthens those underused muscles.
that makes sense. It's like starting with the beginner slopes before tackling the black diamond runs.
So we've covered the why and the common pitfalls, but now I'm really curious about the how. What are some practical steps for transitioning to barefoot running safely?
Think of it as a gradual progression,
Okay.
allowing your body to adapt at each stage. A good first step is to try minimalist footwear.
Okay.
Shoes like Vibram 5 Fingers or Merrell Barefoot offer some protection while still allowing your feet to move and function more naturally.
I've seen those shoes. They look kind of like gloves for your feet, but wouldn't it be better to just go barefoot right away?
Right.
What's the point of those minimalist shoes?
They're like training wheels for your feet,
Oh, okay.
helping you get used to a more natural range of motion. Start with short runs in them, maybe a kilometer or two at a comfortable pace. Gradually increase the distance over a few weeks, always paying attention to how your body feels.
So minimalist shoes are the first step. What comes next?
Strengthening your feet.
Before you even think about running barefoot, dedicate some time to exercises that target those muscles in your feet and lower legs. Simple things like toe curls,
Yeah.
where you use your toes to pick up small objects or scrunch up a towel.
Okay.
Calf raises are great for building strength and flexibility in your calves. And don't forget balance drills.
Balance drills.
Mm-hmm.
How does that help with barefoot running?
Standing on one foot for 30 to 60 seconds at a time can do wonders for improving your proprioception.
Okay.
That's the fancy term for body awareness. And good proprioception is crucial for barefoot running because it allows you to sense the ground beneath your feet and adjust your stride accordingly.
It's like giving your feet a brain boost. So we've got minimalist shoes, foot strengthening, and balance drills. What's next in our barefoot running boot camp?
Introducing barefoot walking.
Okay.
This step is all about getting your feet accustomed to direct contact with the ground. Start with short walks, maybe 10 to 15 minutes on soft surfaces like grass. Gradually progress to harder terrain like gravel or dirt paths as your feet get stronger.
Okay, we're walking barefoot, building up those calluses, and our feet are getting stronger. What's the final step? When do we actually start running? So we've walked barefoot, building up those calluses, and our feet are getting stronger.
Right.
What's the final step? When do we actually start running?
It's time to start running, but hold your horses. We're not talking marathons just yet.
All right. Slow and steady wins the race. I get it.
Exactly.
So what does a beginner barefoot run look like?
Start with short distances, maybe 200 to 500 meters on a soft, forgiving surface like grass.
Okay.
And here's the key. Focus on your form. Aim for a forefoot or midfoot strike instead of landing on your heel.
Okay.
And try to maintain a high cadence, meaning more steps per minute. It might feel a bit strange at first.
I can imagine. It's like relearning how to run.
Exactly. And remember, rest is crucial. Allow yourself at least 48 hours of recovery
Oh, wow.
between barefoot running sessions to let your body adapt.
Right.
As you start to feel more comfortable, you can gradually increase your distance, but no more than 10% per week.
Okay, so it's all about those small incremental steps.
Absolutely. And throughout this whole process, the most important thing is to listen to your body. If you're experiencing any pain, don't push through it.
Yeah.
Back off, reduce your intensity, or even go back to minimalist shoes until the pain subsides.
Sounds like a training journal would be super helpful here. Tracking mileage surfaces and any discomfort.
You got it. A training journal is like your roadmap. It helps you track your progress, identify patterns, and make adjustments as needed. Remember, everyone's journey is unique. What works for one runner might not work for another. It's all about finding what works best for you.
This is all great advice. But I have to ask, is barefoot running really worth all the effort?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Barefoot running isn't a magic bullet.
Right.
And it's definitely not for everyone. For some people, the potential benefits like improved proprioception, stronger feet, and even a reduced risk of chronic injuries might make it worth the journey. But for others, the risks and challenges might outweigh the rewards, especially if they have pre-existing conditions or limited access to safe, natural running surfaces.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all solution.
No, definitely barefoot running is a long-term commitment, not a quick fix. It requires a shift in mindset. It's not just about changing your footwear. It's about changing your relationship with your body and how you move through the world. Maybe the real success isn't about running marathons barefoot, but about rediscovering a more natural, mindful way of running.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive into the world of barefoot running. It's definitely given me a lot to think about.
Me too. It's fascinating how something as simple as taking off your shoes can lead to such profound insights.
You know what? I'm feeling inspired to at least give barefoot walking a try.
Oh, cool.
Maybe a few minutes around the park this week. Just feeling the ground beneath my feet, really connecting with that sensation.
Absolutely.
Who knows? Maybe this is just the beginning of a whole new way of running for me.
I love that. And even if you decide it's not for you, the exploration itself is valuable. It challenges us to question our assumptions and connect with our bodies in a new way.
Well said. I think that's a perfect note to end on. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today. It's been a pleasure.
The pleasure was all mine. Thanks for having me.